Hi everyone, and we're back for another movie review. And today I'm going to review the sequel to 48 Hours, which I have the DVD. And I'm gonna talk and review about another 48 Hours came out 1990, and of course once again directed by Walter Hill and stars Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte, which they reprise their roles as Officer Jack Cates and ex-convict Reggie Hammond. Um, yeah, so um, written was by John Fasano, Jeb Stewart, and Larry Gross. And of course, the story was actually written by Eddie Murphy with uncredited name, and he actually changed it. But he wanted to do another sequel that it will be considered the spirit of the first one. So this time, Roger Spottiswoode and of course Walter Hill were actually replaced. From the screenplay from the first movie, and yeah, because Roger Spottiswoode wrote the screenplay for the first movie, and it was also Stephen A. D'Souza who was also replaced in the sequel, and I think was Larry Ferguson. I'm not sure. Walter Hill, they were actually replaced for the screenplay, which was now written by John Fasano, Jeff Stewart, and Larry Gross. I think it was Larry Gross. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Directed once again by Walter Hill, and like I said, came out 1990. It was a sequel, and honestly, I think it's kind of underrated sequel. I really love this film. I really like this film. Honestly, my favorite is still the first one. The first one is the best one. The original is the best one. It's a classic. How they work in the first movie, I really enjoyed it. I love the first one to death. The first one's my favorite of the two. This will be actually my second favorite, but honestly, it's not better than the original. It's not better than the first one, but it's a entertaining, it's a fun, it's a kick-ass sequel, and also hilarious sequel. I'll say definitely, I really love this film. Not as much as the first one. The first one I love to death. This one I like. This one I like. This is actually almost as good as first one, but still has a lot of problems, and it kind of suffers. The most that this movie suffers is actually by being cut. This movie was long, 2 hours 50 minutes, but was been around 45 till 50 minutes has been cut by director and by studio, because that time in 1990 the studio was actually competing, because before this movie came to the movie theaters, Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger has been released that time. It was actually a huge hit and was number one in the box office, so they competitive with that film, and the studio demanded this movie is being cut till 1 hour and 35 minutes. And there was actually more. This movie also shows why it suffers by problems and why it was actually mocked and negatively responded by critics and negative bad comments, and why was also mocked by fan critics about why was this movie mocked, because they actually deleted a lot of material, the work print versions, like 2 hours 15 minutes. I would like to see that someday, because there's more explanation about the characters. And Brian James stated in an interview that he had more to do, his character was more explained, but they completely cut everything out. And I kind of think that Paramount Pictures, and if the director did that, they're all assholes. They could at least apologize to Brian James. He's actually a respected actor, and rest in peace, he passed away. And he was also in Tango and Cash. So they could show a little respect to the actor, how they fucked up his character Ben Kehoe, or more Iceman, because he was actually the third main lead, and he wasn't that much explained. So that's kind of really a shame in my opinion. But they did the sequel. I still don't know why this movie is actually why is this movie why such this movie not released on Blu-ray? I guess Paramount Pictures does not want to release them because I don't get it. They actually went and released they went and they released Friday 13 all movies, even the bad ones. They actually went and released the even South not that movie Uncommon Valor was released on Blu-ray, but not this movie. And yeah, this movie was not released, so I do have the DVD. This is the back. I do have the DVD, and yeah, those are actually The Boys Are Back in Town, the chapters, and of course I do have the DVD. It's kind of already scratched, and I used to have the first one on DVD, but I replaced it for Blu-ray. No, the DVD isn't that's actually the DVD. The DVD isn't so much great because it isn't too cool. It's not widescreen, just like in Blu-ray. Even the first one wasn't on DVD widescreen. And I think that many people who actually watch it on Blu-ray players notice that, or DVD players notice that it's not a widescreen, So I really wish that we will get this movie on Blu-ray in the widescreen, just like the first one. Yeah, that's one of my problems. Few problems in this film I still do have, which I'll get to soon. But you know what? The hell, I'm just gonna get now to the problems. This movie, the reason this movie gets still nowadays gets crap is because, first off, the Bond, in the first movie, the magic worked, they actually worked. They hated, they first did not like each other, but they depend on each other, and not only they became partners, they actually became more than partners. They became good friends, and they trusted each other. Because the first one really worked. This movie completely they destroyed the Bond, So they like completely the whole movie they like hated each other, Like for one of the reasons they kind of corrupt Jack Case, because in the end he steals the money from Iceman. Didn't he say in this movie that he's that he actually is a straight honest cop? Oh, but he steals the money from the drug dealer Iceman. That they completely fucked up the character, in my opinion. I still think that the first movie is much better. It's definitely my second favorite Eddie Murphy film. But I'll definitely put this movie as my fourth favorite Eddie Murphy film. But I kind of hated how they like destroyed the bond between those two. Like in the open scene, Jack Cates goes visit, Eddie Murphy's character, Reggie Hammond. We find out that 7 long years Reggie Hammond has been in a prison, and this is another mistake and another problem. How was he for 7 years in a prison when in the first movie he was only he had 6 months till he sits his time. So how was now 7 years long in the prison? And yes, it was explained that he was like that they like stole some money in the prison. They framed him, which I don't think is completely fiction, in my opinion. How they even steal in prison money and they went and set him up. I still don't know why. Was he a bad day? Was he on the wrong time, at the wrong place at the wrong time? Maybe who knows? That's another flaw. That's kind of shows how much they cut the movie without any explanation. That's the reason why this movie suffers so much, and that's the reason why people don't think it's a good movie. I think it's a good movie, almost good as the first one, but no, it's not better as the first one. Better Than Ever, I disagree, by Joel Siegel, ABC TV New York. I disagree. It's not better than ever. It's not better than the first one. Like I said, 48 Hours, the first one's my favorite. The first one is a classic, but this will be a fun, entertaining sequel and really good one. Really good one, and a good one sequel. So yes, I love this movie too. I grew up watching this film too. I saw the first one first, then I saw the sequel, and as a kid, This is actually my favorite sequel because it had more action scenes. But now as an adult, I say the first one's much better. This movie, like I said, this movie kinda suffers by the friendship and bond between those two main leads. The first one worked very well, the bomb, the dynamo duo, how they actually solved the case. I thought that they work very well, This movie, they kind of suffer, from friendship, like they hate each other, and we find out that after 7 long years, Jack Cates goes visit Reggie Hammond when he needs something because he's the best lead, because the mob sends actually a hit on Reggie Hammond, and he only visits him when he needed. What the fuck? And I agree with Reggie Hammond. I thought you're my friend, And he only came to ask him for a favor, and then he starts extorting him. He's not gonna give him the money, $500,000. He's not gonna give him the money until Reggie helps him. That's like extortion. He goes in extortion. He's a cop, and he goes in extortion him. And I didn't like how Reggie Hammond goes and kicks Jack Cates the living shit out. They through whole movie they actually go and fight each other. They're supposed to be a good friends. They showed up in the first movie. They trusted each other. This movie completely they destroyed that. Completely they destroyed that bond and that the partnership, the friendship. They completely destroyed. I mean, they should not do that. But even have some fight scenes, those two were hilarious. I did have a laugh of it, but those are kind of a few problems and why people really crap on this film. So I got it, Those are actually a few problems. But the action sequences work well. The action sequences are great. There's also more body counts than in the first movie. I think this movie kind of surpassed the body counts than the first one did. In the first movie there was a shootout in the lobby, but people said I think the Paramount picture said that Walter Hill's never gonna work with them, but he did, for the sequel. I love the action sequences, the bus gets chased, those two bikers are chasing the bus, and one of them uses that shotgun. He uses the shotgun as the Cobra Street Sweeper with 12 gauge, and the other biker, played by Andrew Divoff, he uses a Desert Eagle 1, and they both shoot the glasses, the bus, just like in the first movie. Just this movie, they're actually bikers. One of them has a 12 gauge shotgun. The other one has has a gun in his hand, a Desert Eagle, and shooting all the glasses on Eddie Murphy. And I kind of like that very much. I like that. He has Desert Eagle mark, and they kind of shoot and blows the glasses in the pieces, and Andrew Divoff shoots in the tire, and of course the bus flips at least 6-7 times over, and of course Eddie Murphy grabs the guns in vest and shoots on them. They both fire at them but misses, and so the action sequence in the bus flips over is awesome. It's really great, real practical effect. Even truck hits the bus, no one could survive that, but Eddie Murphy's character Reggie survives that. They even shoot they actually even shoot the driver in the head, just like in Universal Soldier. So this movie kind of works for me. Always, even as a kid, I enjoyed this sequel. The action sequences are fine. Like Jack and Reggie are in this hotel, and Reggie he goes upstairs. There's this Chinese girl. She says, "I have to dress something." He says, "Oh, she's naked." He goes on the knees, and the The other Brotherhood biker grabs the gun, shoots on the door, but misses Eddie Murphy. Eddie goes kick the shit out of him. He uses the gun, shoots twice the door glass, breaks the door glass. And there's like in the lobby, in the floor, on the stairs and upstairs, they're like two men that actually go shoot each other. There's a shooting scene. Still know how no one, neither one of them hit each other. Probably it was impossible to hit someone, but Cherry Gans uses his Desert Eagle mark, while Jack uses Smith & Wesson Model 629, and they both fire each other, so yeah, the action sequences kind of work well, especially the final shootouts are actually really awesome. Like Ben Kehoe, Iceman with Uzi, blows everything, and they're like and there's like this guy, he was Ed Ross, he was in Red Heat. He actually uses his Smith & Wesson, I think was the small model, shoots on Jack. Jack goes twice and shoots him, kills him, and he also shoots the guy, the other biker right in the shoulder, and he falls down, and Eddie Murphy grabs his gun and shoots him, kills him in self-defense. And there's a firefight between Gans and Jack, and Jack goes and shoots him, and even though he goes he goes on the lift, he's actually in the air on the lift. He holds a girl in the hostage. I still don't know how he even survived. Jack shot him, but I don't think he shot him in the shoulder. He shot him in the chest, but he fell down. He survived. I don't know how they did that. But I still don't know. He only had 3 barrels, and he shot with that gun more bullets than even the gun can hold. I'm still confused with that, And and of course Eddie Murphy also lost. He also fired all the bullets, And Gans goes, kicks in the head and punches him, and Reggie goes, stands up and punches him. The guy flies through the glass, through the glass window, and he lands right on those on those drink barrels, and actually really damn good scene, practical effect, real done. They actually really work well. And you see all the blood, we don't see all the blood, so I really do enjoy that. But I'm kind of confused when Kehoe grabs Reggie behind him like this, and puts the gun, the Uzi gun, Jack's gun was Smith & Wesson Model 629, which holds only 4 barrels. And of course, Eddie Murphy says, "Shoot me, Jack," and he shoots him, but he doesn't shoot him here or here. He shoots him here. I think he could be dead. I think if that were for real, he would be dead. And Jack fires 6 bullets with his gun, when his gun can hold only 4 barrels, and he already used one, so he only had 3 shots left, not 6. So how they even did that? I'm definitely sure they actually recut and added a scene without Jack going and reloading the gun. So that's another fiction, So that's because the first one was realistic. This was kind of fiction, so that's kind of suffers, by those mistakes, by those pure fiction, That's sometimes that in the sequels does not work. That was one of my many problems by Under Siege 2. Like there was a sniper girl, she aimed the gun, she shot him, and if that were for real, I don't think he will ever get up or be alive. And he acted like he's a Superman, he's a superhero, and no one can touch him. That's even worse. And if I'll say this movie is much better than Under Siege 2, much better film. Even though that's the only those a few problems with the film, but the rest I enjoy. I love Eddie Murphy in this movie. And this is actually his movie. He's actually built as a star, because in the first movie he wasn't. He was actually the second one. Now Eddie Murphy took the role. He took the film. He wrote the story, So yeah, the boys are back in town. So he wrote the story. And like I said, in the open scene, we see 3 bikers. They meet each other, played by Andrew Divoff. Andrew Divoff, David Anthony Marshall, and Ted Markland, as Marshall, Willie Hickok, Cherry Gans, and Malcolm Price. Andrew Divoff plays the brother of James Remar from the first movie, and when two cops shows up, Gans grabs his gun and shoots the woman. He shoots the woman, and his partner goes and shoots her partner. From the car, he shoots him, and Malcolm Price goes with the gun when the barkeeper tries to call the cops, for help. He goes and says, "Who you calling, friend?" "No one." That's how I don't believe it. He says no and shoots him, And then we see a biker scene, which the mob puts actually a hit on Reggie Hammond, and then Jack goes interferes. He actually shoots the guy and and accidentally the bullet hits the gas pump and blows up, and it was actually a practical effect. The hitman was like all burned, he was like all burned, and we see a real fire. That is practical effect. Sadly, the cops can't find the gun. So Blake Wilson, played by Kevin Ticke, he was in this movie. Actually, this movie Roadhouse. Kevin Ticke was in this movie Roadhouse, and they couldn't find the gun. So Internal Affairs Blake Wilson thinks that there is a manslaughter, and thinks that Jack on purpose shot the unarmed man, and he probably made a mistake. In Internal Affairs, they actually really, Blake Wilson goes since for years. And for the past 3 years, Jack is actually hunting down a drug dealer named Iceman. But every time Jack shows up, there's a dead end, and people thinks that Iceman does not exist. But Jack knows he exists. He knows he exists. But now, because they can't find a gun, he's probably gonna go for jail because of on attempted manslaughter. And Jack now has only 48 hours to clear his name, and his best lead is now Reggie Hammond, played by Eddie Murphy, because the mob put the hit on Reggie Hammond, and because Jack goes to visit Reggie, and he tells him that he's not gonna give him money unless Reggie helps him, to clear his name. And Reggie said, "I give you the money for because I trusted you. You're my friend, So you tell me you're not gonna give me money. You're not gonna give me money if I don't help you. You got it, convict." He throws the ball and kicks the shit out of him. He gets in the solitary, gets out of the jail, and he's now, "Let's move, you're a free man," I love that. Good. I'm gonna maybe visit you 6-7 times, Jack says, "Stay away from me. I'm gonna visit you 6 times," when Jack meets him in front of the jail, he says, "Good, stay away from me. You're in love with this time. Good. Maybe I'm gonna visit 6-7 years. Wait a minute, I don't beg." I love that, the lines between Jack and Reggie. And meantime, two Brotherhood men who were actually hired, Andrew Divoff and his partner David Anthony Marshall, Willie Hickok, and Cherry Gans, they're actually hired by Malcolm Price on the hit. Cherry Gans has a score to settle with Jack, so he said that he's gonna get them both. He's actually more pissed on Jack because Jack killed his brother Albert Gans, James Remar from the first movie, and because Reggie Hammond, he went and he turned them over. He actually he go and turn him over, so he has a score to settle with both the men. So he goes to this bar in which Jack, he tries to find that guy, he tries to find this guy, Burroughs. He's actually a small dealer, works for Iceman. He tries to get him, So this is the guy, Brent Jennings. He was also in Red Heat, He was also Red Heat, and his bottle, Small Fish, works for Iceman. So they try to get him, but Gans shows up in front of the bar in the glass, grabs the gun, he knocks on the door, smiles, grabs the gun and shoots Jack to pieces. Then he goes, like I already mentioned, the bus scene. That's probably my favorite bus scene, which they attack the bus, and I love when before they attack and they go on a rampage on the bus, like Eddie Murphy goes, baby, 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 you got that, baby, 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 and two bikers shows up and Eddie Murphy smiles and the guy grabs the gun, fires on the glasses in the window, and one of them uses 12-gauge shotgun sweeper, the other one uses Desert Eagle Mark, Gans uses Desert Eagle Mark, while his partner Hickok grabs 12-gauge shotgun and shoots on the glasses, and they like shooting the glasses, and Eddie goes, grabs the wheel, tries to kick them. Gans shoots the driver in the head, we see a blood, and he goes in front of the bus and shoots in the tire. The bus like flips over 6-7 times, and when truck hits it, Sally, thank God, Eddie survives, grabs the gun, shoots the bad guys, both men lands now in the hospital, and of course, Reggie wants to go out, he was not gonna be in the hospital the first day, and I did not like that Jack was lying to the cop and said that he was a child molester and that he has to take him in. That was kind of mean. That's another problem I didn't like in this movie. Excuse me, I sneezed. Excuse me. But I did not like that in this movie. The first movie worked very well. This movie didn't work very well. I thought the first movie they worked much better than this movie. That's just me. But yeah, But I did wrote down, because he tries to convince Reggie to work with him, and I love when Reggie said, I actually wrote down his beautiful. This is actually my favorite line that Reggie says. Hey Jack. If you're looking for sympathy, you came to the wrong person, okay? I'm supposed to be in my way to the Florida, my uncle, be my uncle used car business, Instead, I'm here with you, I'm broke, I was shot out, I was on a bus that flipped over 20 times, I got glass over my hair and my suit, broke my Walkman, and lost my James Brown tape. Plus, I've been hit by a big truck, so leave me alone, okay? I love that scene, I love that. Hey Jack, if you're looking for sympathy, you came to the wrong person, okay? I'm supposed to be on my way to the Florida by my uncle's used car business. Instead, I'm here with you. I'm broke. I was shot out, I was on a bus that flipped over 20 times. I got glass over my hair and my suit. Broke my Walkman, lost my James Brown tape, and I was hit by a big truck. So leave me alone, okay? I love that, love that scene. And they both go to the car, they argue with each other. So they go to front the police station, and Jackie tries to find more about Burroughs and those bikers. Meantime, Reggie says, I'm gonna borrow money, gun loans from my homies, and I'll get the hell out of here, So he calls everyone. No one cares about him, So he has no choice. He has to work with Jack once again. So they go to Jack's house to collect his Porsche, and that's another favorite scene of mine. He said, Jack says, I build an alarm system. So Reggie grabs push the button, the car keys, and the car blows to pieces. And I love that scene, and that Eddie Murphy says, they blow my car! They blow my car! They blow my car! Oh, that's a shame. They blow my car! And I said, it's a shame. You have no money, you have no car. I guess you have a day. That's it, Jack. I'm through with you. Oh my God, I was laughing my ass. They blew my car. They blew my car. They blew my car. That's a shame. They blew my car. And all you say is that's a shame. You have no car, no money. I guess you have a bad day. That's a Jack. I'm with you. Eddie Murphy, fantastic. He's awesome. He steals this movie, in my opinion. Best performance by Eddie Murphy, better than Nick Nolte. But like I said, yes, the movie has a few problems, but Eddie Murphy saves everything, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my fourth favorite Eddie Murphy film. Yeah, so now Reggie finds out he has no choice. He has to work with Jack. So they go to this club called Bornstorms. I think was actually a dance club in which already because the bikers, they actually were looking for a call girl, a dancer, or was a call girl. I think was Angela. I think was Angel Lee. They were looking for Angel Lee. So they actually went to find Angel Lee. And yeah, they actually went and find Angel Lee, you know, and they actually go, because Jack is suspended, he uses a fake badge. He goes and talks to the waitress, and in the meantime, while Reggie's in this club, he sees how this black bitch, you know, I'm not sure who the actress was, that black girl. I actually wrote down, but I'm not sure. I think it was Dawn Robinson. She was like one of the restroom girls, and this is the second time that Reggie gets hit by a girl, because she says "fuck off." He says, "I just finished out of the prison, out of jail, but you can buy me a drink, you know." And she says, "fuck off," you know, and he's witnessed how the girl goes and steals, and she's a thief pocket, and she steals the money and his wallet from that guy, and Reggie goes and bargains, you know, he actually goes and hustles and bargains for his half of the money, and he goes to the restroom, and she says, "Hey honey," you know, like those girls, like three girls shows up, you know, they say, "This is a lady restroom," and Reggie says, "Mind your own business." And he says, "Hey honey, I talk really good. I talked to this guy, and he's kind of upset, and he wants his money back. Unless you buy me a bribery," and I'll say, "You're too fast." And she says, "I am too fast." And she grabs the knife, sticks the knife, you know, and she tries to stab him, you know, and he grabs her, and those girls shows up and says, "We're almost through." And I love that song, but I wish what the hell happened to the other scene. And second, the scene is completely deleted, and Reggie shows up, brings the guy money, half the money, and says, "Where's my wallet? We never talk about your credit cards. It's still in the bathroom." But never explanation what happened to the girl. No, what happened with Reggie? What did he did to the girl? You know, another problem, another plot hole in the film. You know, that's another problem for this film. But yeah, while Jack is walking in the bar, Reggie, by the way, love the bar scene, love also the song, which I wrote down, "Give It All You Got" by Curio. Love that song. It's a beautiful song, beautiful shot how Walter Hill directed. And like those three rednecks jumps on Jack, and the guy says, "Jack hates, remember me. No, you busted me a long time ago, and I got 2 years, you know. I didn't know that this girl was actually a mind age. And I didn't steal the car, my friend stole the car. Oh, this is sound on me. I got 2 years, so come on." And Jack says, "Come on, you know, into the bar, so the fire, son gets glass, grabs the glasses, punches the guy, kicks the shit out of them, you know, one of the guy grabs Jack, throws in the on the counter, starts punching him, and Reggie goes, grabs the thing, you know, that wooden thing, throws that wooden roof on the guy, and Jack goes like pissed, starts fighting. He even jumps the guy in the balls, you know. That's a really good scene, in my opinion, good fight scene. And I love when Reggie grabs the gun, shoots in the roof, and says, you know, and he says, "All right, cut the shit off. I have been having a very bad day. I just got out of jail this morning. Already been shot out. I was on a buzzer clip 70 times over. The bitch tried to stab me in the bathroom, and somebody blew my Porsche. I am in a goddamn mood. I am in a bad goddamn mood. Now, I usually don't jump when someone is getting beat down, but this man, Jack Cates, is gonna help me straight out the rest of my day. So I suggest you all back up and let us go about our business." I love it, this guy, because you have a gun in your hand, in your hand. No, because I have a gun and I'm gonna pop your crap out of your ass. I don't think you got a guts to use it. And then he goes, shoots the guy in the leg, and the guy keeps screaming, "Anybody but wants to live?" He shoots him. I love that scene. And then they in the front of the car, and Jack says, Jack, what the hell you doing? So to a big gun, he goes and punches Eddie Murphy. What the hell is that for? That's for basketball. Now we're even. Now we are even. That's it. I will stay away from you, Jack. And he goes, "I'm not buying. Fuck you, Jack." I was laughing. Come on. Oh my god, he punches Eddie Murphy. I always love that, Oh my god, he punches Eddie Murphy. Oh my god. But Reggie knows that he needs to get the money, so he goes in this hotel, and I love it. And Jack says, I thought you quit for the 5th time. Why is it you can't stay with on me? I'll tell you, if you touch me again, if your hands, I'm gonna kill you. Oh, it's alright. Only because your head, the bone is the left hand, the bone goes and punches him right here. Now you motherfucker. Hey, you son of a bitch, you just even won the basketball. Yeah, well, give me your money and you can give me the ball. You son of a bitch. We will just get you on a basketball. I was always laughing with the scene. He punches right on left shoulder. Oh my god. I love when those two guys hitting each other, No, anyway, I already mentioned the action sequence when this guy, I think was Willie Hickok, grabs the gun, shoots in the door, and Eddie goes, knocks him down. They both escape, and we see the boys with the guns. I love that the boys are shooting actually aiming with the guns, but they don't shoot because the bikers escape. And because every lead that Jack finds, gets away. So Jack he goes and calls. Every lead that Jack does escapes. So Reggie goes and confirms that it's not because it was Howard's. Iceman doesn't want him dead because he stole and ripped him off for $500 million. No, it's because he saw him. He can identify him. He can go and blew his cover. So Reggie figures out that the guy must be a cop. And Jack says, "No way." But he says he must be a cop. There's no other explanation, How long is it going to work for those process? And says, "Howard's been Howard's. Sometimes it's low. It must be a cop. Someone he doesn't get along." And of course, when Jack says, "That must be Wilson. He's only been jerking me around since the start this goose chase." So they go to the court, and a lot of the scene, and he goes, "That's it. No, that's not Iceman. It's gonna be someone else. No, it's gonna be a goddamn Iceman." I love that. No, this guy's gotta be goddamn Iceman, And Jack loses his badge, and they're gonna put him now in the prison, because they said this Your Honor is Officer Jack Cates, and he lose his badge. And before he loses everything, Jack gives the money back to Reggie. We find out that he bought a new car. Also, he used $25,000. And another problem, I forgot to mention what happened to Annette Toll. She should be back. Annette Toll was not in this film. I don't know why, but he mentioned that they actually got married, but then they split up. Which I don't know what happened to Annette Toll's character, Elaine Marshall. I really missed her. I missed Annette Toll. She was in the first movie. But yeah, and of course, Reggie, there's this guy, Kirkland Smith. This was this guy who was also in Never Say Never Again. He played Felix Leiter, rest in peace. That actor, he played Kirkland Smith. Yeah, I thought I wrote down, but I guess I didn't wrote him down. He was helping him, and because he was for 5 years, he was keeping him alive, and he promised he's gonna give, I think, $75,000 to his daughter. So Reggie finally does that. He fulfill his promise to his friend, because his friend, he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna be alive long because he has ears everywhere. He has connections. They're gonna kill him, and he know that. So he goes. So the man, so Reggie goes to the store, gives the girl money, but he gets ambushed by Gans and Willie Hickok, because previously they actually talked to Burroughs, because Iceman killed one of the Brotherhood, and that was Malcolm Price, because the boys came too closer. So they went and killed, they actually went and killed the Burroughs, because they killed Burroughs because one of their Brotherhood was being killed by Iceman, and they promised they're gonna get all of them, the cop, the Iceman, and even a convict. They're gonna get everyone. And they actually go to the store, kidnap Kirkland Smith's daughter and Reggie, and they call on the station, and they think the Cruz is actually Iceman, but it wasn't, by Ed Ross. And then Jack finds out that Burroughs has been arrested many times by Cruz, and Cruz always tells him he always didn't find anything. Jack suspects there's this guy who's actually a dirty cop, and of course this guy shows up. How is it called? This guy, I think was this guy Wilson shows up, and I love when previously Jack told him, you're a chicken shit, Wilson. I know, maybe it's just a job, and and of course, Wilson keeps jerking around Jack, and Jack goes punches in the face. He deserves it. Everyone knows he deserves it because he destroys a lot of good cops. He deserves it. Kevin T here from this movie, this movie Roadhouse. Right beside Die Hard. He got punched. He deserves it. And then they go to this club scene, and of course Reggie says to those guys, "This is not the Iceman." When Cruz shows up, this is not the Iceman. I thought the Iceman is gonna shows up, and I think the gang says, "You only try to save your ass, Reggie." No, it's true. This isn't an Iceman. And then Ben Kehoe, played by Brian James, shows up, who was such a good guy in the first movie, shows up and says. Reggie says, "This is the Iceman," and Jack shows up. "You got the wrong guy. You two just grab the money and split. I just want the Iceman." And I love when Reggie says, "No one's gonna take my money. This is money. I want the fucking Iceman." And Reggie goes, Gans goes fire with his he goes and fires with his Desert Eagle mark. He goes and fires with his Desert Eagle mark. There's a shootout scene, and like I said, Jack, there's a good music score by James Horner. James Horner did a great music score. Rest in peace. James Horner did a great music score. And I love the final showdown. Probably my favorite scene would definitely be actually the bus scene, when the bus flips 6 times over, gets hit by a truck. That's a great practical effect. Probably my favorite scene. But the final showdown is also great, because they're like shooting on each other. Cruz jumps, there's a stuntman, but jumps. John says the guy, "Get the fuck out of here," they shoot, and Jack, grabs his gun. And Cruz shoots at him twice, misses him. Jack goes, shoots him twice, kills him. And he also, when on the bar, stabs Willie Hickok. Jack goes, shoots him right here. And I love the beautiful music score by James Horner. The guy falls down. and of course Reggie grabs the gun, shoots on Gans, misses him. Also Kiko uses Susie, shoots on Gans, also uses him and misses him, also misses him, and Hickok shows behind, and Reggie turns around and shoots and kills Hickok. And of course, now Gans grabs a showgirl, grabs a club dancer as a hostage, yells at her like fucking bitch, and Jack goes, shoots him, bam, bam, shoots him, and the guy falls down. And actually, he will be dead. I know how he even survived. And Gans stands up, shoots on Reggie, but the gun is empty. And Reggie aims like this and shoots him, but the gun is empty, and Gans kicks in the face. I know how he do that. He kicks in the face and punches him, and Eddie Murphy stands up and punches, and the guy flies through the glass window, right lands on the truck with the water with the bottles. He lands on the truck with the water with the bottles, and really glass scene, and we see all blood, Gans like that. At that time, of course, Kiko grabs as a human shield Hammond and grabs him, and uses a gun. He goes and actually says, Jack, let me get me out of here, and of course, Jack says, "You're a disgrace, man. There's no worse than a crooked cop, or there's no worse than a dirty cop." And Reggie says, "This is Jack's day. Why didn't you shoot me? Shoot me, Jack. Shoot me, Jack." And he goes and really shoots him. He really shoots him. But I think that if that would be real, I don't think that Reggie will even be alive. He grabs and shoots like 6 times with his Smith & Wesson model 639, which is that impossible. In my opinion, that gun only holds four shots. He shot 6 times. I would say 7 times he shot. First shot was for Reggie, then he shot at least 6 times Ben, and that's kind of impossible because the gun holds only 4 shots, not 6, not 7. So that's kind of unrealistic, but I really like that scene, when Ben Kehoe flies through the glass. I really like that scene. Then the movie, of course, ends with the boys, going their separate ways, and and of course, Eddie Murphy steals his lighter, and the movie, of course, ends. I do love the quotes. And I love when, you're protecting this cherry guy because you're loving him. I understand why girls love this kind of guys like that, I understand. I love Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is the best of the film, my opinion. That's why it's actually my 4th favorite film of him. But I wish that there would be at least work print version so you can know more about scenes like what happened to that girl in the bathroom. She disappeared. That we will more know about Ben Kehoe and his alter egos Iceman. I really do wish that. Love Cayenne Panther, Little Caesar, the song Tolkien, love that song. And I also love Give It All You Got. I love by Curiel, love that song to death. Another problem was by the finale. I wish that Willie Hickok would use his 12-gauge shotgun. Why was that not used? Why he did not use on the final print? He used the shotgun 12-gauge street sweeper as a Cobra street sweeper on Burroughs, but why he didn't use on the final shot? I think on the finale, on the climatic final shootout, he should use his 12-gauge shotgun. Why was not the actor using that shotgun? Because it was actually a memorable shotgun, in my opinion. So that's another problem I do have with this film, And maybe because they had to cut it, I don't know. Maybe the director cut it. I really do wish there will be more explanation. I really do wish to see work print version, and at least that there will be scenes in it, put in it. What happened to that bathroom girl on the restroom, or what happened? Why the actor did not carry 12-gauge shotgun by the final showdown, by the climatic showdown? He should do that, But yeah, the movie was only I think was even cost more to make than the first movie. It was actually the budget for this movie was $38 million. The first one was only $18 million, made like 75, $78 worldwide. The first one was actually a huge hit. This movie wasn't, even though it made more money. It was kind of box office disappointment, at least because they tried to compete with Total Recall. So they had to cut, the Paramount had to demand that the movie should be cut for 1 hour 35 minutes, But it made more money than the first one. It made $153 million, more money. And even though, I think Ben Kehoe, Brian James stated that like Total Recall made $25 million. Total Recall cost $65 million, which is more expensive movie than to do this. And worldwide made $261 million, so it was actually a box office hit. It was number one the time in the movie theaters, And that's one of the reasons they were actually skeptical, because they were trying to keep competing with Total Recall, but did not succeed. But it's a really shame this movie is not on Blu-ray. I really wish to, but I'm glad they have the first one. A kick-ass sequel, entertaining, fun, kick-ass sequel. I love this film. I still love this film, but the first one, I'm sorry, the first one's the best. The first one's my personal favorite movie. But this is actually a really, really good film. A really good film, much better than Under Siege 2, and a really good sequel, a fun sequel. They don't make sequels like this anymore. I've always been fan, especially. I love the bar scenes, all the bar scenes that they were. How they shot, how even the director puts those shots. I love that. I really do wish the movie won't be cut. I would like really to see work print version of this film, but that won't never happened. I really wish this movie will be released on Blu-ray, but Paramount's not gonna release it, so that's really too bad. But I think that Eddie Murphy pulled it off at his best performance. I know I should give credits to Nick Nolte. I'm sorry, but Nick Nolte was better in the first movie than this movie. This movie, I read that he did Q&A, I think was that movie, and he was way too heavy. I did not see he was fat. But he kind of wasn't so much skinny like he was in the first movie. In the first movie, he's much better. Even he was better, But I think Eddie Murphy actually steals the show for this movie, so that's my opinion. That's my movie review on Another 48 Hours. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and and I'll see you in the next review. And I'm done for today, so see ya. I'm out. Peace.